Good morning. Thank you, Vivian, for reminding us about the power of wisdom and the power of experience. And it's made me want to change what I was going to say, because you've covered everything I was going to say, and it now seems completely insignificant. But I had an experience on my last day at Knox before I left to come to the United States. And it was one of those phone calls you dread getting. It was from the media. And a reporter asked me, "It's Queen's birthday, the Queen's birthday today, and we'd like to do something that reflected the views of 90-year-olds in giving advice to the Queen." Now that's the monarch. And they wanted to be there in an hour and a half. But we only want to talk with people that were over 90. And do you have anyone over 90? And I said, look, we've got no problems. We've got plenty of people over 90. We've got people over 100. I had that crushing momentary panic that this could be something that could reflect poorly on the people that were going to be interviewed. But I figured, well, let's go with this. Let's trust that these people from our community, from our national broadcaster, are actually going to want to reflect well on elders. So they arrived. We quickly whipped around and rounded up a really good group of people. People wanted to be involved. What they shared in terms of their wisdom and their advice that they'd give to the Queen was remarkable. And in fact, it was one of those shocks for the reporter who expected people that he spoke with to have a whole different view. Their measured, intelligent wisdom was broadcast so positively. And it reminded me about just trusting that the community really does want to hear what elders have got to say. They really do want this to influence the way the world views getting older. So what I'm going to ask everyone to think about is, where does the community begin and end? We tend to consider our internal community. But what I'm going to say to you is that when we forget about the community that seems to be captured within the walls, when we forget about that and we open the doors and we welcome people back into the lives of elders, the magic and the capacity for change to come about is profound. We're fortunate because we've been on a wonderful road trip with volunteers, and volunteers have shown us that when you don't need to control everything, you've got an absolute force to be reckoned with. We have 700 volunteers. The youngest is 13 and the eldest is in their 90s. Now these wonderful people bring the community in and have opened up so many opportunities for residents to have loving, continuous and unquestioningly non-judgmental companionship. But more than anything, elders have taught those volunteers about the power of being an older person. Now, our future, I think, in this wonderful Eden alternative environment is for us to say, elders are the people who will lead the change in policies. And I'm asking that we lift our gaze up from the everyday. Take your eye off that detail that buries us. Lift your gaze and look for opportunities for elders to speak with people of influence. And we are very lucky in New Zealand because we are very close to our politicians. But everywhere we have people of influence. I'm saying to you, bring those people in, look for opportunities for them to spend time hearing the stories, because the stories are the ones that lock in. Vivian, your story is so powerful, and I thank you for sharing it. And that's what we need to hear. That's what our world needs. That's where we see change coming. The other thing Vivian has already said this, but the finding a way for elders to take that basket of experience they have, that capacity to change a worldview, and get it back out to where it should be, which is under the noses of decision makers. So I'm going back to New Zealand in a few days, and I'm going to be fortunate to be part of a group supporting elders to get back into community organisations, to be there influencing the council, influencing departments. And I believe that that's where our locus for change really comes from. So I'd like to thank you all for listening to our wee story.